Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Kim Zolciak breaks down in tears as she talks finally being free of Kroy Biermann after bitter divorce. Kim Zolciak appeared on stage with Kristin Cavallari this week during the Atlanta stop of her Let's Be Honest tour. During the live conversation, the 46-year-old former Real Housewives of Atlanta star got emotional while discussing her tumultuous divorce from Kroy Biermann. Insiders told TMZ the women stayed on the subject for about 20 minutes, during which Kim got teary-eyed. It was also said that Kim labeled her 39-year-old ex Kroy a narcissist and clapped back at his claim that she has a gambling problem, noting she never patronized a casino without him. Kim also addressed cameras she said Biermann set up throughout their marital home to spy on her, sharing she is now finally free. Kim is reported in February that Zolciak wants medical professionals to determine if the former Atlanta Falcons player has CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a degenerative brain disease that afflicts many long-term football players. In documents filed in family court, she stated she believes her ex is battling the effects of the disease and asked the court to appoint healthcare workers to examine her estranged spouse. In the documents, Zolciak claimed Biermann often has expletive-laden outbursts in the presence of their 4 underage children. Additionally, the reality television personality has accused her spouse of extreme sexual promiscuity. Elsewhere in the court filing, Zolciak claimed Kroy has tried to keep their children from contacting her, revealing he has assumed control of their cell phones. For his part, in 2023, Biermann also asked that his wife undergo a psychological evaluation, accusing her of having a gambling problem. Their split was initially announced in May 2023 and has dragged on for nearly 2 years as the couple reconciled and broken up again. Kristin took to Instagram on Saturday morning to share content from her Atlanta tour stop with her nearly 5 million followers. The former Laguna Beach star wrote, "Atlanta. Last night was a dream. Thank you for kicking off this tour in the most perfect way." And she gave Kim a special shout-out, adding, "And thank you to Kim Zolciak Biermann for coming out and being her most vulnerable, incredible self. I love y'all." Kim returned the love by posting Kristin's post in her Instagram stories and calling her a smoke show. She added, "Thank you for having me," with 2 red heart emoji. Kim Zolciak sat quietly in front of the camera, her eyes red and puffy, her usually flawless appearance somewhat disheveled. It was a sight many fans of the former Real Housewives of Atlanta star had never seen: vulnerable, raw, and emotionally exposed. The reality star, known for her bold personality and impeccable hair extensions, was now confronting a new chapter in her life, one marked by heartbreak and personal growth. After months of headlines surrounding her messy divorce from NFL star Kroy Biermann, Kim Zolciak finally spoke candidly, breaking down in tears as she explained how she felt about her split. Sitting on the edge of a plush couch in her living room, she took a deep breath, trying to collect her emotions, but the floodgates had already opened. The cameras that captured her every move for years now filmed her at perhaps one of her most human moments, a side rarely seen in the public eye. "It's been hard, you know," Kim began, her voice trembling slightly. "You think you have this life, this dream, and then one day it's just gone. Everything that you thought was forever turns into something you need to fight to escape. And it's not just about the divorce itself. It's the whole idea of letting go of someone you thought you would always be with." Her voice cracked as she continued, the weight of her words settling over the room like a heavy blanket. For so long, the public had watched Kim and Kroy's seemingly picture-perfect life unfold: 4 beautiful children, a lavish lifestyle, and a love story that played out for all to see. The idea of their split, which had been building for some time, shocked many. But Kim's reflection on the process of moving forward was far from glamorous. "I think for a long time I didn't know who I was without him," Kim admitted, wiping away a stray tear. I was just Kim and Kroy. Everything I did was for us. I lost myself in the process, and that's something I didn't realize until recently." Her words resonated with anyone who had ever given up pieces of themselves for the sake of a relationship. It's a narrative that plays out in households across the world, but seeing it on such a public stage was a sobering reminder that no one is immune to pain. Not even the stars we often put on Kim and Kroy had been far from smooth. It had been dragged through the courts, with allegations and countersuits splashed across every tabloid. The details were ugly, filled with accusations of financial mismanagement, betrayal, and a growing distance that neither of them seemed capable of bridging. Yet here Kim was, confronting the reality of her personal situation in front of the cameras, unflinchingly honest. "I think the hardest part wasn't even the public fallout," she said, taking a deep, shaky breath. "It was realizing how much of myself I had buried in trying to keep up this image of the perfect family. The truth is, we weren't perfect, and I wasn't happy. I was trying to make it work for the sake of keeping up appearances, and I lost who I was in the process." Her tears, though heartbreaking, seemed to mark a turning point. Kim, once the queen of confidence and bravado, was now embracing the vulnerability that many would consider a weakness, but in reality was a strength. The woman before the camera was not just a reality star or a mother. She was a woman rediscovering her own identity after years of being defined by her relationships. "I'm finally free," she whispered, her voice tinged with relief and sadness. "For so long, I felt trapped. I didn't know how to break free, how to admit that it was okay to let go. But now, I can breathe again. I can be myself again." The emotion in Kim's voice was palpable, and for a moment, the audience was transported out of the reality of celebrity and into the heart of a woman who had been through something deeply personal. In that moment, it wasn't Kim Zolciak, the TV star, speaking. It was Kim Zolciak, the woman, the mother, the person who had endured a challenging journey. The tears continued to fall as Kim spoke about her children, who had been affected by the divorce. They were her everything. She admitted that the hardest part was seeing the emotional toll the breakup had on them. Yet, even through the pain, she emphasized the importance of showing her children that they too could find strength in difficult times. "I'm doing this for them too," she explained, looking directly into the camera, as if speaking to her children, even though they weren't there. "I want them to see that it's okay to walk away from something that isn't working, that it's okay to choose yourself, even when it's hard." It was in this moment of clarity that Kim seemed to find her peace. The weight of the past year had clearly taken its toll, but it also seemed to be the catalyst for the emotional growth that many never expected her to have. She was no longer the same woman who had flaunted her luxurious lifestyle, her sprawling mansion, and her perfect family. She was now a woman who had lived through the worst of it and emerged on the other side. "I thought I would never get here," she said, wiping her eyes one last time. "But I'm finally here, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm in control of my own story. I'm not defined by a marriage or a divorce. I'm defined by me." As Kim sat there, looking both drained and empowered, it was clear that this was a new beginning for her. No longer bound by the expectations of others or the illusions of perfection, she was reclaiming her narrative, her freedom, and her voice. It was a powerful reminder that sometimes the hardest moments lead to the most profound transformations. Kim Zolciak was no longer the woman who hid behind a perfect image. She was the woman who had learned to embrace her flaws, her struggles, and her journey, and in doing so, she had found her strength.